Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Let me invite the divine beings and other celestial beings who would like to listen to Dhamma. With that we can start the Dhamma sermon. Samanta Cakkavalesu Atra Gacchantu Devata Saddhammang Munirajas Sunantu Sangha Mukkadang Dhamma Savana Kalo Ayang Badanta Dhamma Savana Kalo Ayang Badanta Dhamma Savana Kalo Ayang Badanta Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Homage to the Blessed One, the worthy one, the fully enlightened one. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Dear Dhamma friends, today's Dhamma topic, which is given to me a few weeks ago, is vegetarianism in Buddhism. When I saw this topic for the first time, I thought that what could I speak with this topic, because I came to know that that Brickfield Temple is a place for various Kololi monks, for them to stay here and explain the Dhamma in various Dhamma concept. So I thought that this topic has been explained by various teachers based on various traditions, and is there anything to tell about this, especially new things? With this thought, I was confused a little bit. Then I asked Venerable Sunanda again whether I have to tell anything new about this topic. Bhante, you said you may say whatever you want to say. Then people who come for this session will be able to discuss so many things with that. Then I thought that I'm going to tell the Buddha's word about this, and also some interpretations that has been given by so many scholars. So friends, I'm here to share with you some insight about vegetarianism in Buddhism. Before moving forward, I would like to explain the results of listening to Dhamma. This is a Dhamma talk, but we can discuss about the topic later on. We can have a question. We can have a question and answer session after this. Anyhow, this is a Dhamma sermon. Buddha has explained the results of listening to the Dhamma in a beautiful way. Let me bring these results for your understanding. There is one discourse in numerical discourses of the Buddha where he explained the results of listening to the Dhamma. He mentioned 5 results of listening to the Dhamma. The first one is Assutan Sunati. The Pali phrase is Assutan Sunati. Whenever you listen to a Dhamma talk based on Tripitaka or whatever it is, the first thing you can get is being able to listen to something you did not hear before. Assutan Sunati. So if you have undivided attention to the words that the preacher explained, you may find one or two facts that you did not hear before. Asutang sunati. That is the first result of listening to the Dhamma. The second one is sutang paryodapinti. You may hear the same thing you heard before, but you can establish your understanding on the same thing. Perhaps the monk or the speaker would tell it in a different way, confirming certain things. Though you hear the same thing, you have an opportunity to listen to it again and confirm your understanding. That is the second result of listening to the Dhamma. The third result is kankang vitarati. It means even if you do not have the first and second in the Dhamma sermon, perhaps you can clarify your mind, you can do away with confusion about the same topic. As I said earlier, that this topic is very common, very famous. When people come to understanding eating meat is good or bad for Buddhist monks, or offering meat and fish is good for lay people. When you come to this topic, you ended up with so many confusion. Perhaps unanswered questions leave for people. Even after this sermon, I don't think that I can give you a direct yes/no answer in this sermon. So anyhow, kankang vitarati, you may have certain opportunities, chances in this sermon to clarify certain things. Doubt could be eliminated into certain extent about certain views you have. That's the third result. Ditting ujung karoti. As long as you keep doubts, you are not in peace. When we have doubts, we are wavering on the Dhamma. So as long as you destroy doubts, your view, your understanding becomes straight. Ditting ujung karoti means your understanding becomes straight forward. That's the fourth result. The last one is chitta matta pasidati. By listening to Dhamma, you become happy. There is a causal conditions in among these five results. Without satisfying your mind with the first one, without satisfying your mind with the second and third one, you cannot have the fourth and the fifth. At the end, even if you do not listen to new thing in this Dhamma talk, you must be able to be happy, assuming that you did a great job today, listening to some Dhamma based on the Buddha's teaching. So these are the five results of listening to the Dhamma. With that, I would like to tell another thing which is similar to the previous five results. When the noble people come together for Dhamma sermon, for meditation or whatever it is, only two things are to be done to upgrade our level of spirituality. So that they are Dhammiva Kata Ariyova Tunhiba. Dhammiva Kata. When noble people or just normal people come together, in order to become noble for them, they should engage with the Dhamma talks. They should talk something beneficial for their well-being and happiness. So Dhamma-centered talk is the first thing when good people, when wholesome people should do when they come together. The other one is noble silence. If you do not engage in Dhamma-centered talks, just be silent, but not the complete silence. Noble silence is different from complete silence. Complete silence means you do not talk, but your mind talks a lot. You have so many thoughts in your mind, criticizing and appreciating and being in the middle, and so many thoughts processes could arise even when you are not talking, even in complete silence. But noble silence does not mean that. The noble silence means your mind is totally away from 5 hindrances: sensual pleasures, ill will, remorse and worry, and mental sluggishness and doubts. So either you engage with Dhamma-centered talks or practice noble silence. So how do I connect this Dhamma talk and the importance of Dhamma talk to the one I am explaining? Is that this belongs to Dhamma-centered talk. We are Kalyana Mittas, good friends, and we are striving to share the beautiful teachings of the Buddha for our benefits. So having said that, I am going to talk about vegetarianism in Buddhism. When this topic came to me for the first time, having that analysis in my own way, my mind goes to a particular discourse. That is Jivaka Sutta. How many of you have heard about that discourse? Yeah, you heard? Yeah. So Jivaka Sutta. It is in Majjhima Nikaya. Jivaka Sutta is named by the person Jivaka, the physician of the Buddha. This discourse was delivered by the Buddha when he was in Rajgir, close to the mountain Gijjakuta, to the person called Jivaka. So one day Jivaka was visiting the Buddha and he asked a question. Venerable Sir, I heard that some people prepared food for you, even meats. So people used to say that Venerable Gautama Buddha knows that these people kill animals for Venerable's food. So do you know that? And these people of course added so many things behind this, that Venerable Gautama liked to eat meat, and he likes the taste of meat and fish. So is it true, Venerable Sir? Jivaka said that some people misrepresented me, my Dhamma, by saying this. But I never said that I like to eat meat. I never said that I encourage monks and nuns and lay people to eat meats and so forth. Then Buddha said a very clear statement in this discourse, which is very important for our discussion today. He said that I asked monks and nuns, those ordained Sangha, to accept any type of meat or any type of animal products when they clear that this food is cooked for us with the intention that these people did not kill the animals for our food. Exactly what he said in this statement is that if you monks did not hear, did not see, or do not have any suspicion about this food, that people killed animals for my food, then you are about to eat it. Only 3 things. In Pali we call this Trikotika Parisuddhi. If 3 factors are clear with the food, you can eat. If the food is not clean enough with these factors, you can reject it. Once again I will tell it to you. If you hear that this food, this meat or fish, is prepared by the donor by killing an animal, if you hear that, if you see that, if you suspect that, then only you can reject it. Otherwise, monks and nuns accept the food. That's what I told monks and nuns about eating meat. Jivaka So that is my message. Anybody, if they say that I like the fish, I like the meat, and I ask monks and nuns to eat and taste it, that is a misrepresentation of my Dhamma, Buddha said. He elaborated the discourse further into various directions. Buddha said that if a monk take a meditation subject and went into a forest monastery or under a tree or a silent place, meditate on loving kindness, spreading his thoughts to various directions, that may all living beings be well, happy, and so forth and so on. This monk establishes himself in the trade. When he goes on Pindapata to the village or to nearby city, he receives food, various types of food, including meats and fish. Does this monk, Jivaka, have an intention of eating meat, eating fish, or eating any curries and rice and so forth? He or she takes the food, accept the food from donors to survive his life. So the whole purpose of collecting food on Pindapata from various towns and villages is to survive himself or herself. So those monks and nuns practice the training principles, go on Pindapata and collect food for survival. Does this monk or do these monks and nuns eat food for taste? Then Jivaka said, no, Venerable Sir, they are perfect in Dhamma, they collect food for survival. Then these monks cultivate compassion, karuna, towards all living beings. And these monks practice mudita, sympathetic joy, and they practice equanimity, the upekka, all these Brahma Viharas. So do they wish to eat food for taste? Do they wish to eat all these fish and meats for enjoyment? No, Venerable Sir, I know that. Jivaka says they are to survive. They take food for the purpose of survival. Therefore, Venerable Sir, I don't think that they are enjoying meat and fish. Then Buddha added, if somebody commit this killing animals for feeding monks, including the Buddha, they are going to accumulate demerits that cause them so much suffering. At the end of the discourse, Buddha added 5 conditions, 5 occasions that people accumulate demerits if they kill animals for offering monks and the Buddha. Let me tell you these 5 factors first. If a person decides to kill an animal, slaughter animal, to make food for monks, including the Buddha, that very thought could accrue so much demerits for the person. So this is only a decision. He or she does not kill the animal yet. This is only a thinking. Just imagine planning ahead of killing. Then if this person asks somebody to bring the animal using a rope or using any type of vehicle and so forth, while decision is one part and taking is another part, at that time this person collects so much demerits. That's the second time he accumulates merits. Perhaps the person decides to kill a chicken or a deer or a pig on Sunday, and he is doing the very action on Monday. So Sunday he accumulated demerits, Now he's accumulating demerits again on Monday. Then he orders, or himself, doing the killing. Animal is taken into the place where maybe in the kitchen or maybe outside of the kitchen or whatever. Then and at that moment before killing, he accumulated so much demerits. Then at the time this person kills the animal, with the pain and suffering of the animal, he accumulates demerits again. When he offers the prepared meat to a monk or a group of monks or nun or any person to gain merits, he accumulated demerits. These are the 5 times that a person accumulate demerits. This is what we have in the Jivaka Sutta, where Buddha put a rule for monks and nuns not to eat meat or any animal products except milk or cheese or whatever. We don't find any other places in the Theravada Tripitaka where he mentioned anything like that, but in another discourse we found that that he recommends not to eat human flesh and elephants, horse, tigers, lions, and all these valuable animals, because they are considered as sacred animals, not by Buddhism, maybe from other traditions. Therefore do not eat their meat. That's what Buddha said. I remember another occasion where Buddha mentioned about eating meat and fish. Venerable Devadatta, the hostile of the Buddha, the great opponent to the Buddha. He was a relative of the Buddha. However, you know the story that he created so many hostile feelings about the Buddha, because according to the text, according to the stories of the Buddha, he was destined to revenge from the Buddha, to take the Buddhahood, thinking that it is a title that can pass from one person to the other. One day when Venerable Devadatta came to the Buddha with so much anger in his mind and said that, Venerable Sir, if you want to preserve the Sangha order and let it to the future exactly as it is, please have these 5 conditions on monks and nuns. The one of them is make a rule for monks and nuns not to eat meat anymore. Then Buddha asked couple of questions related to 5 conditions. Devadatta, have you practiced these 5 conditions in your own life? He was silent. Even Venerable Devadatta did not practice the very principle. Then Buddha said that, I do not make any Vinaya rules on this, including the other 4, because it is up to monks and nuns to decide whether they eat meat or fish. So these are the textual references we have about eating meat by bhikkhus and bhikkhunis and Buddha's statement about it. Therefore, many people ask couple of questions about eating meat, offering meat, fish, and so forth. I would say that this question is unanswered yet. We cannot find yes/no answer for this question. Whether Bhante, it is good to eat meat. Does he or she accumulate demerits by offering meat or fish? Because some people ask the questions that because of eating meat and fish by ordained sangha, Buddhist people are are to buy them from the shops, and then because of their buying, the slaughter man is busy with killing animals. And if we are going to reject eating meat and fish, Buddhist people do not buy them. And then when Buddhist people do not buy fish and meat, there is no slaughter of animals. That's the simple argument that many people would say. There are so many counter arguments for this. Let me tell you something that some people always say that. Because of this topic, I listened to some Dhamma talks done by some Sri Lankan monks back in country, and one monk says that our Sangha order is unbroken. It comes from the Buddha's time. So I think you are well aware of how it comes into this state. From Venerable Anya Kondanya and Sariputta, they ordained monks, and those student monks became elders of the Sasana. They ordained monks. Similarly, this order of monks came into being to the present state unbroken. So when you offer dana to us, you make a point that may this food for all the community of monks, including those great disciples of the Buddha. So you connect all type of disciples of the Buddha, taking monks at present as representative of the whole community of monks. So you connect all the monks with present monks. So taking that example, one particular Sri Lankan monk says that, so we are eating fish, we are eating meat, because of that people like to offer whatever monks like to eat. Then people buy it from the shops, and the slaughter man, the butcher or whoever it is, know that people somehow buy meat and fish. No, not necessarily he thinks or they think that these particular people by their name buy these animal products or meat and fish and cook, but you are connected with that. So he argued that eating meat and fish somehow accumulates some demerits. Even offering meat and fish accumulates some demerits. That is his personal point of view. And some people who do not eat meat and fish attached to vegetables, attached to vegetarianism. I'm telling you all the possible information that we can discuss. So I'm trying to make a point that in Buddhism we address attachment, the taste, and all kind of these fundamental teachings of the Buddha behind this. So those who do not eat meat say that we are pure, we are okay, and we are the best. You eat meat and fish, and so forth. But they have attached to curries. And one funny thing is that some people do not eat chicken, beef, but they are looking for taste of chicken through vegetarian sausages. They look for that taste from vegetables. So they have a view that I like this taste, which is a wrong view, and they have attached to the taste of chicken through vegetables. And some people attach to different curries. Some people are looking for proteins and vitamins from vegetable because they do not eat fish or meat. thinking that it accumulates some demerits for them. So they are going to one extreme, according to my personal view. Now I add my personal view. So because they have attached, they have upadana, they have attachment, which is detrimental, which is very strong defilement, according to Buddha's teaching. So then another argument is that if you stop killing, if you stop eating meat and eating fish, they are going to stop killing living beings for you, then you are okay. But the counter argument is that how many animals, how many living beings are killed by the farmers in producing vegetables? You cannot be non-violent 100%. Am I right? So then you are supporting those farmers to kill living beings by buying vegetables from the shop. So therefore we have arguments for both sides, but I appreciate if you cannot, if you can avoid eating meat and fish, considering good health. But again, there is another counter argument that I have a friend from Ottawa, Canada, and he has been eating only vegetable for 20 years. Recently he got a heart attack. Then the doctors found that he has cholesterol and all kind of diseases were found later on. And there is one scientist, he was originated from Sri Lanka and studied in Canada. He won a couple of awards from the Queen. He was advertising not to eat chicken and beef because so much cholesterol produced by eating that. That's what he said. But he also, his family members followed him. One of his brothers got a problem because of cholesterol. So then where we go and what we suggested at last. So my understanding about this vegetarianism in Buddhism, it could be done with understanding. Buddha says that if there is no right understanding, samma ditthi, we cannot go forward in this noble teaching even one step away. So if you do not have right understanding about consuming food, about consuming other things, including practicing loving kindness properly, we cannot go forward in this noble teaching. Let's discuss about the right understanding on food. Right understanding could be categorized into two, as mundane right understanding and supramundane right understanding. Those who do not attain to first level of enlightenment, of course, practice the first one, the mundane right understanding. It says giving is good, following some principle that brings happiness for oneself and others is good, and there is the mother, father, and rituals and so forth. Karma brings you good results when you do good things, and when you do bad things, it brings bad results, and so on. It has been categorized into 10 in discourse called Sammaditi. So this is mundane right understanding. If we take, regarding this right understanding, we take food for survival. That's why monks and nuns are advised by the Buddha to reflect on food. Are you familiar with the stanza? Patisankhayo niso pindapatang patiseva. Nevadavayana madayana and so on. This clearly says that you are taking food, whatever you receive, is for survival. Why do you take food for survival? To practice the noble teaching, to follow the noble Dhamma and discipline for completing your practice on the noble teaching until you attain enlightenment. So we do not follow any rules, anything to taste food. Our intention is not to taste food. Whatever food you are eating is for survival. With this statement, with this reflection, we are not eating rice and curry. We are not eating particular meat. We are not eating fish. We just take a food. From the absolute point of view, food is only a form for a meditator. It is a form, and when you take it and eat it, there is a feeling of taste. Then monks consider that this is only a feeling of taste. When you eat it, according to the meditation subject called particular manasikara, unattractiveness of the body and the food and so on, you reflect it is only a food that is impermanent. So there is no any problem with this reflection to eat meat for a monk or a nun, or even lay people. And when you buy fish or meat from the shop, you are not buying an animal. It is already killed and you are taking some food item. But when I said this to a person, he says, "Venerable sir, I remember the face of the chicken, very innocent. How can I cut into pieces and mix with spices and give it to you?" Then I told that person, if you remember the face of the chicken or the deer or the pig, do not eat it. Do not do that. Let me share with you my personal experience. Before I became a monk, I had 2 cows in my possession. My mother asked me to feed them every day, every morning before I went to school. That's my duty in the morning. As soon as I came from the school, my duty was to feed them again, changing the place of eating. Due to some economic problems, it was just before my ordination. My parents decided to sell them to a person, and we know that person resell them to a butcher. I was crying because I could read their mind. Still my parents regret about this. From that, I have never eaten beef. From that moment, I decided that I never eat beef, because I remember their faces. So I think more than 10 years ago, I watched a video of a very big factory where chickens are killed for food. Then I thought, why do I eat chicken? Because these innocent animals are going to suffer at various stages of killing. With this firm determination of not eating chicken, I got some problem too. Because some people, out of faith, cook chicken and came to temple, sometime chicken and only 1 or 2 curries. So then they offer, I refuse to eat. Then they make a strong view that this monk is not eating chicken. Then that news was spreaded everywhere in the society. So people then thought so many things when they cook dana for us, because this monk is not eating chicken, that monk is not eating beef, this monk eat only vegetable. So many problems for poor people, because we have created views in us in eating meat, eating food. Then I decided that Buddha had never said to select food. It's another burden, it's another hindrance for us. So then I went back to the original message of the Buddha: accept whatever people offer out of compassion, out of faith. So somehow I told a couple of people recently that decide from your own understanding. These are the things that the Buddha explained about eating meat as monks and nuns. These are the things you should consider as lay people who offer animal products. So it is up to you to decide whether I offer meat or eat meat. I think 5 months ago I went to a house. They are a good friend of mine. I saw how they cook chicken. They took that raw chicken and put it in the table and cut into pieces, and that is not pleasant to me. That was the first time I saw a person cut a chicken to make a chicken curry. It's not pleasant to me. So thinking that if somebody says that I do not eat chicken, or I do not offer chicken for monks because the process of preparing a chicken curry is so unpleasant, I accept that. So consider practical difficulties and avoid eating chicken or cooking chicken curry would be acceptable for me. But it's up to you to decide, okay? I'm not here to give you direct answers about that. So we are, of course, I remember our topic, vegetarianism in Buddhism. So vegetarianism in Buddhism should be understood with right understanding. So why do we eat vegetable? Just to survive. Just like eating chicken or beef or whatever, meat or fish. So vegetarianism is accepted in Buddhism if that is not going to extreme. Buddha never asked monks to be any vegetarianism or vegetarian person or vegans. Back in Canada and US, there is a new trend, a movement called vegans. They do not even drink milk. So it is hard for a Buddhist to do it, in my point of view, because you hang on to a view that I am a vegan. From the Buddhist point of view, you cannot side yourself to a group. You are a person who practices the Dhamma to let go of views. If it is okay for people to consider the practical, difficulties, problems, that's the point that I like to accept. But if you do not have all these conditions come together, I would say accept whatever it is easy for you. So vegetarianism again should be followed with right understanding. Why do we eat vegetables? Vegetable is for survival. And I do not attach to food. I do not attach to taste of food. That's the consideration we should think of. So I have so many things to share about modern scientific evidences about this, that people who eat both vegetables and meat and so on, some people do not have so much physical problems and problems that cause for them to suffer from diseases, and some people who eat only vegetables, of course, very rarely experience all these diseases. We cannot make a framework that eating this type of food gives you a good health, and eating this type of food is not good for your health, because other conditions could be influential, could be very strong for you to be sick. Because if the air is bad, if the intention, if the thoughts are bad, you are going to be sick. So only food. Food is a main thing for people to decide who we are and what we are, and it has a big culture behind that. But being in moderation of everything is the best thing according to Buddha's teaching. Commentary says that 5 conditions should be completed to commit a killing. We have the first principle, Panadipata Veramani Sikkhapada Samadhiyam. I take the training principles to abstain from killing living beings. So with that, the commentary elaborate how a killing happens. So first you should have a plan, and there should be an intention. Then you should have tools or whatever weapons you to kill. Then you, of course, commit the killing act. Then you killed. Then you should know that the animal is killed. Come with these 5 conditions, you complete the killing an animal. Right? Therefore, there is no such demerits behind eating fish and meat. It is very clear. If there is no killing an animal by eating meat, people are going to say that eating meat is not detrimental to our training. That is the point that we need to consider. Eating vegetables is good for health in many ways, and it is bad if we attach to vegetables too much. Eating meat could not be detrimental if you have right understanding. Again, if you have misunderstanding about so many views, you of course have eaten meat and fish and accumulate some unwholesome energies in you, physically and mentally. So personally, I like eating vegetables because of so many reasons, but I'm not taking any side, because I am a monk and I cannot make any rules of eating meat, because Buddha said that you are going to accept whatever people offer us. So I think it's 9 o'clock now. We should have some discussion on this, so he will tell the time that we can have the discussion.
We thank Bhante for delivering an excellent talk. Any questions, brothers and sisters? Please take this opportunity to come forward and ask questions. Any question, Brother Song?
Let me ask, is it okay for me to ask questions?
Yeah, of course.
If you do not ask questions, I will ask questions.
Yes. One question.
Yeah.
Bhante, are you a vegetarian?
If people come with only vegetables, I am a vegetarian for that meal. But I cannot remember the last time I eat meat, because I told you roughly that I remember those innocent animals' face, and therefore I am rejecting it. Because let me tell you another thing as answering to your questions, why I didn't eat meat for a long time. In the cycle of samsara, birth and death, Buddha said that we become parents of all living beings. We become mothers and fathers and brothers and sisters of all living beings. In previous life, perhaps you were my parents, you were my fathers. All these animals, even the dog inside the temple, could be our parents in previous lives. When I take chicken curry, when I say fish, I don't know how this thought came into my mind, maybe because of this sansaric understanding. I sometimes feel that this fish could be one of my previous relatives. Right? So perhaps this cow could be one of my close relatives in previous life. So that thought prevented me in eating meat. It's too personal. I'm telling you personal. The question is so personal, right? So I'm giving you personal ideas. And one day, Buddha was going to a place far away from the monastery with the other monks. He saw a person was dragging a cow to sell it to a butcher. Then this cow, you know what kind of reactions the cow has when the cow was taken to the butcher's house. Then this cow was able to release from the man and came to the Buddha, and he was licking the Buddha's feet. Then Buddha had so much compassion on this cow. Then Buddha, that person who owned that cow, was running to the Buddha to take the cow, and Buddha asked, "How much you get by selling this cow?" Then he said, as I remember, 3,000 gold coins maybe. Well, let's say, what is the currency here? Ringgit. 3,000. Then Buddha make a great determination that somebody, either in human world or divine world, come here with some 3,000 and release this cow. Then the head of the divine being, the Saka, came as a person, disguised as a person, and gave that 3,000 and released the cow. This cow was so happy, according to the story. And then Buddha was going forward, and Buddha had a smile at this incident. Then Venerable Ananda asked, what is the reason for your smile? Buddha said that this cow, because of leaking, because of this faith on the Buddha, he will be reborn as a human being at a time where there is no teaching of the Buddha, and become a silent Buddha, Pacceka Buddha. So this story again tells that one time we eat cow, beef, chicken, could be a human beings in the future or in the previous lives. So I'm not a vegetarian. I try my best to be equal, being in the middle. But I have a habit not to eat meat because of my personal reasons. Did I give a good answer for you?
So Bhante, if now someone offer meat, would you eat?
Yeah.
If there is nothing to eat,
So you still will.
yeah, because I stick to the advice of the Buddha. You have to accept whatever people say. Because if I create any hostile feeling of the donor by not accepting the food, it is more dangerous than eating meat. Right? I was in Jordan once for one day, of course, and my friend did not have anything to offer except chicken and some, one curry. So it is. I think it was chicken. So I accepted that. The best thing you have to apply is right understanding. This food is for survival.
So Bhante, you won't have with the right understanding, you won't have an uneasy feeling, is it?
Even if we have uneasy feeling, we would be able to overcome them, because at the end we address not these words: beef, chicken, carrot, and it is food, and we have to identify sensual desire, ill will, metta, karuna, compassion, loving kindness, and we, in the deep level, subtle level of the Dhamma practice, we are dealing with all these things. But I encourage people to eat vegetables if they can, because vegetables are cheaper than meats. And as I told you, in cooking chicken and beef, bad smell is everywhere, and you use oils and practical things cause me to eat vegetables. But I don't say that eating meat, eating fish collect you demerits. But it's up to people to decide it. Even the Buddha did not give a direct answer for this.
So Bhante, another question. Just now you were talking about attachment to taste. So now when, say example, when Bhante take vegetable or what, how to have no attachment to taste? Would you be able to, let's say whether you take carrots or you take celery, is it all neutral kind of thing, or how does you react? How does the feeling go?
That's a matter of practice. Yeah, that's a matter of practice. Buddha said in many discourses that contact between senses and sensory experiences is the biggest problem for human existence, human suffering. When we see pictures, we are going to reflect that I'm seeing pictures, I'm seeing colors. That's the perfect meditation one can have. When you hear sounds, understand that I'm hearing. That's the perfect meditation one can have. Then when you taste food, especially let's say carrot or whatever, chicken, it is a matter of taste. It is a matter of understanding the taste. If you follow the path of the Buddha for enlightenment, you are not going to think that I am eating carrot, this is really good, this taste is salty, this taste is honey, and whatever it is. If you go into details, the attachment part could not be stopped. In one discourse he says that Chakkuna rupan disva na nimitta gahi hoti nanu vyanjana gahi. It is related to eye, seeing pictures, and let's go to tongue and food. So if you go into details of the taste, that this is half cooked and it is salty, it is honey, it is milk, it is chicken, and so forth, you cannot. It is called nimitta. It is primary understanding of the taste. And if you are going into details, you slowly and in different ways created attachment. So at the very beginning, you take the food into your mouth. Be mindful, be aware that you are eating a food. And there is a taste, and I do not attach to taste. That should be practiced over and over again in order to come to complete practice. But I'm not going to say that we could be perfect in that practice until we attain to full enlightenment. But there are stages of that meditation that we can practice. Anyhow, keep some cardinal principles on you. That I take food for only survival. I practice loving kindness and compassion to all living beings. This is only food. There is no living entity, consciousness in that food. So if you reject eating any animal products but eating vegetables, do not attach to taste of it. Those who are vegetarian who attach to vegetables are equal. Those who attach to fish and meat, because they have developed attachment. The problem is not solved according to Buddha's spirituality. So we have to address attachment, desire, tanha, greed, hatred, and so on. These are the mentalities we have to address in eating meat or fish or vegetables. So it's a matter of mindfulness, it's a matter of practice. Unless you practice today, it doesn't come to you next day. So continue on this practice. I think this is the starting point of spirituality, exactly as the Buddha said. So 6 sensory experiences is the beginning of the world, Buddha said, the loka. And if you are going to understand the 6 sensory experiences as the Buddha said, that is one teaching that we need to go with this eating meat or vegetables. Yes.
I'm getting a bit confused here because
Can you speak
sorry,
loudly?
I'm getting a bit confused here because right now I'm practicing solely not to eat meat.
Yeah.
I always thought that eating meats will create some bad karma indirectly, maybe, because I always thought that if I go to a restaurant and order the meat or fish, will it be indirectly causing the harm to the animal? So,
Yeah, you're asking whether we make suffering for animal by ordering and eating and buying. That's what we were discussing. We have facts for that. That if you buy meat or fish, if you eat them, then people who do killing part do not stop. Let's understand the karma. Buddha said, Chetanahang bhikkame kammam vadami. It means your intention is the karma, right? You are not encouraging any person to kill living beings by eating meat. But somehow there is argument, as you said, we allow those people to sell them because we are going to buy them, we are going to eat them. But the counter argument is that, okay, 20 of us, 25 of us stop eating meat, right? Fish and so forth. Is there a guarantee that all these shops do not sell fish and meat? No, there's no guarantee. Again, if we are going to stop eating meat and fish, that is good for us. If you understand that it is bad for eating meat and fish and so on, then stop it. Because that's why I'm trying to stress you that it should be personal. We cannot make framework for others. But I support for people who eat vegetables to destroy the attachment part for taste of the vegetable. I support for the other people to let go of the attachment for fish and curry. One of my high priests cannot eat any meal without chicken. So that's a good practice for me to think how attachment is created by this monk for chicken. He's going to criticize openly. The recent example is that we had the Katina ceremony last year, and I was the main organizer. He was in Sri Lanka, and he was telling that monks should be offered everything, including chicken. So people don't like offering chicken in my temple. Some people. So I'm too diplomatic. I was too diplomatic in this case. Then, but I told people, okay, if you think that offering chicken is really bad for you, then follow that. Because I have explained enough the basic teachings of the Buddha about eating meat and eating vegetables based on attachment. Then some people brought chicken curry, some people did not. In the first round, chicken curry did not came to the table. And this monk was so upset. And everybody else in the order did not have any idea to eat chicken, but this monk wanted, and he says openly that this dana is not organized well, it is not completed. Because that's the attachment. My friend, I do not have a particular direct answer for that. So, but those who eat meat and order meat or buy meat do not cover their ability to attain Nibbana. That's what I can tell. Those who can eat meat, those who buy meat and fish, those who offer meat and fish for monks and nuns or any person, by that action they do not hinder their path for Nibbana. Because attaining Nibbana is always about dealing with his own negative emotions, attachment, tanha. But anyhow, practically I support your idea. If you do not like any kind of meat, and if you do not want to buy them, I support by understand the basic teachings of the Buddha.
But let's say if I'm given the choice, would it be better than
Yeah, give the choice to people.
Yeah, if I give him the choice for myself, can I?
Yeah.
Just not to eat, is it better?
Yeah, choice. When you consider yourself, you should have understanding about the karma, intention, and you should understand the reality of eating food, and then vegetables and fish or meat, and you should have understanding about all these things. I'm pretty sure that if you have understanding, you may eat food for survival, and you are going to consider whether I get enough protein from this vegetable, that vegetable, so you have to consider about that part as well. And if somebody offer you some meat or egg or fish or out of compassion, think whether you accept it. Think whether you make the friend unhappy also. So the best thing I can tell that understand the Dhamma behind it. Understand the Dhamma about the mind and body. Connect them to the everlasting peace and happiness called Nibbana. How by eating this, whether my path to Nibbana is disturbed by, and so on.
Okay, one question. In the Buddhist concept of karma, do we accumulate akusala karma by association? Let's say you mentioned that I don't actually kill, but I buy it through a supermarket or a market. So by association, do I become an accomplice to the crime?
Association, association of what? Association of those people?
By associating, by going to the market to buy the meat.
Okay.
So that is by association. I'm helping to kill a cow or whatever it is.
Yeah.
But I actually didn't do it. But by association, I'm already creating karma, akusala karma, right?
Answer should be very descriptive. When we consider the concept of metta, in a complete form, you cannot develop any bad thought even for these butchers, even for these people. It's not a perfect association. It's not kalyana mitra. If you are kalyana mitra, you are associating all kind of kalyana mitra in your association, right? So you go to market and for, let's say, not to buy fish, just to talk to these people. Still, you should have some compassion on your mind. I don't think that you accumulate demerits, akusala karma, by just going to market and see those people. Even if they talk, they are going to be that occasion going to be pure because you have compassion in you. Whenever you see a butcher or animals who are about to kill, have some compassion on them. Did I give an answer for that?
Yeah, almost, yes.
Because it is, you go with if there is right mindfulness in you, that I go to the market to buy some food, let's say chicken, it is because of feeding your children perhaps. It is because of feeding some animals by cooking, chicken. So the intention is the most important thing. So your intention is not to associate bad people, even though are bad. You are not going to hate them and associate them and create hate. Perhaps your kindness, compassion flow out from your words and complexion and so forth. They might decide that this person is so kind. Even those butchers should have some time to collect some merits by talking to you. Right? So compassion could be spreaded into various directions, in various ways. Perhaps those animals who are cows in this lifetime, deer, chicken, had done so many demerits to be born as cows. Who knows? That is their destiny. Some cows, some animals are born into that state and die with that. No human beings, no other beings killed them. They were done enough demerits to reborn as animals, but they have enough luck not to be a part of killing by somebody. So their demerits should also be considered in killing. That's why Buddha did not give a direct answer for this. If the Buddha gave a direct answer, the disciples in later part of his dispensation confused a lot.